Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. And well, this is take two because I did this whole video with my mic not working somehow. Man, that's annoying, isn't it? That is annoying. Here we are on Erlenberg, and today we're going to talk about reading and reacting to the battle, which is a top tier skill. It is the difference between being roughly 55% and 60%. Mechanically, you can get to probably around 55% just being very mechanically skilled at the game. You know how to position early, you know how to get shots early, you know how to fight your tank the best that you can. And occasionally you're going to read and react pretty well, but the people who can more consistently read and react to the battle are going to be above 55 and start approaching 60 or above. The very best at this, who can read well before even I can what's happening on the map, are going to be your guys that are rolling at the 65% level. And there were some of those in the past. It's a little bit harder today to do that, but some of the guys in the past who were soloing at 65 and even above that on occasion. But we'll dial it back just a little bit here so we can, not get into the rarefied air of the 70% super duper unicums, the uber duper unicums. We're going to talk about looking at the mini-map and then assessing what's going on during the entire match from the beginning to the end. We are here on Erlenberg. I've spawned into the south. It's a standard battle, and I have decided I'm going to go over to the east side. The east side is interesting. It can be effective in getting crossfire on the center. You're probably not going to push the east side unless the enemy team really just doesn't send anyone there, and that's highly unlikely. What I thought was interesting about this game, though, when I logged into it, is that there's no real TDs. So I'm not expecting too many campers over there. I'm going to shoot this plane down. Watch this. Did you guys know you could shoot these planes down? Boom, hit that baby. Badoosh. There you go. Pretty cool. So, a little Easter egg for you. I did hit it. Don't tell me I didn't hit it. Look, it's on fire. It's crashing. Alright, I know a crashing on fire airplane when I see one. I don't know why you don't. I shot. He blew up. Correlation is causation. What do you want from me? Alright, so we come up there. No TDs. Sure, there's probably going to be a few camping guys back in the bush. Maybe not, though. And what's interesting is, already I'm seeing we have a problem over on the west side. And this is what I'm talking about reading and reacting through the entire match. I made a decision to come over here. By the way, the follow-on decision is I'm not going to stick around here too long if there's nothing going. I don't want my gun just sitting here. What I'd really like to do is get a couple shots on the guys in the middle if I can. But I'm also noticing we have a big stack in the middle. So our power is in the middle of the map. It's actually very close to the cap still, unfortunately, but that's a whole nother subject. They have sent a pretty good strike force over to the west, and the west is in danger of being overrun. So this has already gone into my mind. I found that out by looking down and right and paying attention to the mini-map and what was going on, and then reading that information, not just going, oh, okay, I see some red, I see some green, I'm on the west, they're on the, or I'm on the east, they're on the west, yay. You need to start thinking about what that means to the future. And what this means to the future is the west side's more than likely going to lose. And one of the ways to win this, one of the easiest ways to win this game, is to keep them busy in the middle, win one of the flanks, and then collapse over onto the middle, and then get crossfire on the guys in the middle, and it's pretty much over. So we need to avoid that if we can. So that's got me keeping a critical eye on what's going on the west. So we'll go ahead, we'll come up here looking for shots. I see the setter, so that's good. There's a spotter. I'll come in here and see if I can get a shot. I let a shot get away right here. It was a little closer than I wanted to be. And I felt like maybe, I want to see if I get a nice shot on him. I'm kind of flailing around. Should have pickled that off, but I didn't. So missed opportunity. There you go, and I take a worse shot. And now I'm starting to see the guys in the middle, but they've kind of filtered forward a little more. In fact, the ARL is actually on the other side of the buildings, over on the west side of the buildings and not in the middle, it appears. CS44 came up here. This is one of our tier 7s. We have two of our tier 7s sitting on this flank. And I'm thinking, all right, that's not great, and we don't have shots. Also, and in addition to, we have a problem still over on the west. The 3601's moved in, so I feel like he's going to provide a little bit of support. I'm hoping the 40 TP can last a little while, but the 40 TP is a little tier 6, and he's just kind of holding on for dear life on the southern side of the castle right there. 3601 is basically a camper. I'm not relying on him to do anything, but at least there's a gun there potentially to keep them a little bit honest. So as I am making my cross check, I'm looking for the shots down here. I'm paying attention to what's in front of me. Over here, I've got to make sure somebody doesn't sneak up and light me. I'm seeing if I can get shots at maybe the 1375. And I'm paying attention to what's going over on the west side. Nothing good. As well as the middle's getting stacked up with their tanks. So I'm already starting to formulate a plan right here. Setter hasn't found much. I haven't seen much. I'm counting quite a few tanks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 at least. One's dead, 10. 11 is the M44, and I forgot to count the 1375. I think there's only 3 to 4 tanks unaccounted for. Now, if all of them showed up on the east side, that would be bad. But I really don't think so. More than likely, a couple of them are camping on the A row over there. And maybe one is on the backside with the 1375, or potentially there's another guy in the middle that I haven't seen. That's what I'm assessing is happening. So I'm taking the best intel that I can get off of the map right here and applying that to this match, my knowledge of this map, and I'm already making a plan, and we're going to go ahead and go to the middle. All right. I'm going to go to the middle because that's where my strength is. There's nothing going on over here, and if I just go YOLO north, I'm probably going to get shredded by a camper or two over there. We have nothing good going on the west. Another option would have been to flex all the way, meta flex all the way over to the west side. That's going to be a long drive, and I'm going to have to go all the way to the south part of the map. So I decide against that. I'm going to take my strength to my team's strength and start working on some flanking shots there in the middle. I also take into account my knowledge of the map. So I'm not just simply driving across the open. I'm going to fade to the south a little bit to at least minimize the amount of tanks that can spot me. I'm taking a calculated risk, knowing that the 1375 has plenty of vision range and view range to see me cross. So we'll just go ahead and hope the setter kind of keeps him honest, hanging out right there. And if I do get seen, he doesn't get many shots on me. So I'm just fading south. I'm looking at the spotting line right there, getting as far away from that guy as I can. And now I'm going to go ahead and come back in. Might have been even safer to drive into this little middle road right here, but I'm going to take a closer line because I can really see that the west side is having an issue. It's 2-2. Things are pretty good. I do not get spotted. My sixth sense does not go off, and that is a de facto spotting mechanism, right? Nobody saw me. That's great. That means the 1375 isn't peeking around the corner. Who knows where that guy is at this point? Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tanks showing up. 10, 11 because of 2 dead. 12 for the Arty. That leaves 3 guys unaccounted for. And I'm now expecting to find a couple of these dudes maybe crossing in here. Bit of a bummer. I kind of look a couple times. I check right to see if the 1375's there, and I'm thinking now I think I'm going to move up to this next rubble pile. I do have to watch out for the M44, and all of a sudden he crosses, and big bummer, I missed this guy. He is completely clueless and fighting through the soda straw right there because he's staring at the guys in front of him. And that's why this move is helpful for our KV2, IS-2M, and King Tiger, as well as even the KV2 who is over here, because now we've got a couple different angles on these guys, and they have to pay attention to both, and that is an advantage, which is one of the reasons I came to this spot. I knew this spot is here. I knew this avenue of approach into the middle is here. That's map knowledge. Nothing good, again, is happening on the west. In fact, they took the 40 TP out, and now they're starting to filter into the south. It's very difficult to push across that open with the King Tiger C and the 3601 and the Arty watching. You got to love the mediums that are hanging out in the back there. Very difficult to push, but they could do it, and there's plenty of them and some good tanks. There's an IS, a CS-44, a Cromwell, even the A-44. All those tanks are good tanks, and we could certainly have a problem if they fold immediately over, and that's exactly what they should have done, and they don't do it. So what they've done is they've won a flank, and now they're sitting there wondering what to do with it. Whereas our team is starting to react a little bit. So we poke one into the IS, or KV-1S, and he has no idea I'm here. Sneak another one in there. He thinks, I believe, he's being shot from the front. Try to kill him. Unfortunately, we miss. Bit of a bummer. I'm just waiting for one of them to figure out that I'm here. I'm going to hang out here. I'm a little bit worried about the M44, so I'm going to scooch forward here. And now I'm going to come in here and get at these guys, and I get lucky here with the KV2, who hits me with HE and hits my gun now. Does a whole 48. Now he's in trouble. This thing reloads pretty quickly. I'm just going to come in here and put a shot on that guy. Nice little high roll, takes him down. Actually, that was, what, 1? High roll of 1, and that's all was needed. So all of a sudden, I've reacted, come across. Their team did poorly, did not react very well. They won their flank and hung out looking for sniper shots. And all of a sudden, we've created a huge advantage for the team, reading and reacting to the map. We did it just a little bit faster than they did, a little bit faster. When I'm talking about the mechanical aspects of a 55% player, I'm talking about somebody who can go to their flank and do really well and often win their flank. But somebody who has less capability of looking at this, the flow of the game, and go, you know, I need to be somewhere else. Notice that we have 2 light tanks that are pushing into their backfield back there. Who cares? Who cares? If there was 3 already, that might be a decent play. All 3 of those on the east side, the setter, the whatever the light tank is, and the medium. By the way, Wargaming, can you please code it so the names of the tanks shift to the left side when they're close to the right part of the map? Why is that still a thing? Anyway, all 3 of those should be in the city, wiping out everyone over here and then flowing over to the west side and taking them out. There's absolutely zero reason to push into their backfield right now. 1375 is basically out of the game. Who cares if he's over there? But anyway, here we go. As far as maneuver goes, I take a shot on him. Whenever someone's trying to shoot me, I am always trying to make them miss. So I'm going to do something like that. Either wiggle or go around them or try to circle them or hide behind something or change the angle of my tank, whatever it takes to make them miss, which worked out really nicely. And he gets absolutely obliterated by the KB2 for all the rest of his hit points. And we've created a pretty dang good little advantage right here. Now we have to be careful. It's not necessarily one. 3 of our tanks are chasing down the 1375 or I'm flanking, I'm killing Artie. Well, it would be really nice if they were over here helping us get eyes on these guys and wipe out their strength. So all 3 of them are up there doing basically nothing. The rest of us are fighting the 4 tanks that really matter that are left in the game over here on the west and the south. 3601 for his part, at least he was able to keep the Cromwell busy and those guys aren't pushing down, coming around behind us. Now we've got to figure out how to get from the middle to the other flank. It's open area, so it's not that easy. I'll swing around this way. You're proud of myself, I haven't dabbed 2. A44 dies, that's good. Look for the 3045M. Realize these windows on this building right here, you can be shot through them. That was a bit of a surprise to me. I don't know why, but in the recent past I've sort of used this ramp a couple times and basically doing this, coming from the middle and trying to weed out people that are over on the west side. One team or the other often wins the west side, and then the center has to figure out how to go get them, or the west side comes in and helps the center. Unfortunately for the red team, their guys did not come over. They did not read and react. They were good enough to win the flank. Of course, we basically gave the flank up, didn't we there? Nobody was really there. But they were good enough to do that, not good enough to realize the advantage they had created and what they needed to do with it. And that's the read and react part. First, you've got to read what's happening, and then you've got to react. I think people are well better at reading it and not quite as good at reacting. And the timing of that is also important. When we talked about earlier, the guys that are sitting at 65%, the super uber duper unicums, they're reading this faster than even I do. And this is a hindsight's 2020. These are the things that were going through my head, but I talked about a lot of them a little bit earlier than it came to me in the match, right? So it worked out well. I made the right moves, went to the right places, but I'm telling you, the 65%ers, as you get better and better at this, you're gonna have a plan faster and faster. And it's the reaction time between the realization and the execution that's one of the most important things. So we'll just kind of zoom in here and we'll shoot right over this guy's turret, because why not? Bummer. And then he kind of hangs out on the edge, doing what he's doing, and will... No, not my kill. Last things last, guys. When we get to this point of the game and you've got all your hit points, my entire purpose is to shoot him and ram this guy and try to take him out, get as many of the hit points as possible. The shot's going to give me hit points. I know he's being closed in on, so I'm just going to use my tank to ram him and get more damage. Is it going to cost me a little more in repair? Yes. Will it give me more damage? Absolutely, and that's what I want. So I'll just go ahead and auto him this dude. If he doesn't see me, we'll shoot him and then ram him and leave him 3 hit points. Oh, that's a bummer. Gets a shot on us. And this dude's got some hit points, so we'll just shoot him. And that saved the shell to shoot the M44, right? He didn't have a bunch of hit points I needed to take. I rammed those off of him. No worries. I'll trade mine for his. In this case, the game is won. And then I get that shot that I can put on the M44. And all of a sudden, I've jumped up to 2,143 hit points of damage. How many was that in addition? Another 200, 400, 700 math and public, roughly. Slightly less, I guess. Points at the very end of the game that I just added on to my total by being aggressive and having a plan from the very beginning right there, or the beginning of the run-in on this 3045 M. All right, guys, there you go. Reading and reacting. Playing the match, not the map. Your initial plan should certainly bring the map into account. Your reacting should bring the map into account. But just because the map is not playing the way it usually does, or the enemy team's created an advantage, say on the west side, what do? You've got to start reacting to that and change what you're doing. I could have sat over there on the east side and snipe and blame my team in the middle and say, oh, they just suck. Darn, nobody showed up in front of my gun. Whatever. I deployed to the east side and got in a good position, but you know what? My team they're bad, and I just, I'll just snipe a couple times, and then maybe later, oh, we're losing. Hey, let's push into the north because whatever, we'll get some hit points off the Arty, and maybe we'll get that 1375. If that's what you're doing, then you are only going to be about a 55% player if you're pretty good at doing that. If you're able to back away and grab some global SA, look at the mini-map and the map itself and understand kind of how this battle's flowing and where can you be of the most use. Where can you be of the most use? I talk about it a lot. I always assume I'm the best player on the team, even if I'm not. Even if I am objectively not the best player, I've got a 4,000 win 8 guy. I play the game as if I am the best player on the team because what I do matters. And if the team's going to win, I have to do it. Even bottom tier, I play it that way. That doesn't mean I go to the front and I play stupidly. It's just that I am always looking for a way to react, always trying to read, always looking for a way to react, to press an advantage or to create one or to address an advantage or issue that's being created by the red team. All right, guys, I hope that helps. It's good to get some specifics, an example of that. A lot of that is pie in the sky stuff that is hard to teach and comes a lot to a large extent from experience, but I won't say that it's impossible to teach. You can hone and teach how to gather SA and what to do with SA when you get it. The idea that you can't teach it is ridiculous. I've seen that idea floated. I will tell you it is 100,000% wrong because I've done it my entire flying career. You can hone and help people in understanding how to gather and what to do with SA. You really can. Okay, some people's base is higher than others, some people's ceiling is higher than others, but you can always work on it for your own self, and a little instruction and an example, a visual example is always good. All right, that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate your support of the channel as always. We'll see you.